Good evening, everybody. Welcome to 360 Digit MG. We are here to assist you in all your career needs and career transformation needs. And as part of that, our vision and mission, we are constantly endeavoring to ensure that we provide multitude of services for our customers, whether you are registered or not. So in that context, we conduct these interview preparation sessions, which can assist you in, cracking the interviews. So quite often the technical skills are there, the knowledge base is there, the qualifications is there, but the capability or the ability to crack the interview, certain aspects are missing. So that one last push that is required for people to be able to get that change, get that job, is something that I'm going to assist you with as part of today's session. This is the career guidance session. And once again, welcome to 360 Digit MG, one of the leading training institutes of the country in association with Innodatatics, another analytics company based out of United States of America. So what is it that is the key thing that helps students to get calls from the recruiters, right? What makes them successful? What any participant, all right? So we'll quickly look into that. Now, we have one of the things, which is the resume, which is going to help you with the first vision, the first thing that the people see is the resume. Then, of course, today, everybody looks at the LinkedIn profile, your GitHub repository if you're applying for a technical job, your postings on Quora. If you have participated in any of the competitions on Kaggle, your Kaggle rankings, and your personal network, LinkedIn, Facebook, all that put together, etc. So we'll be discussing predominantly about all these things one by one. But the thing that I want to, address upfront is that we are not here to give you a magic pill. You have that pill and you become a Superman. It doesn't work that way. So given that it is a process that requires concerted efforts, it is a process that requires time, right? You cannot undo years of neglect, and therefore you will have to, even if you're starting today, expect the returns in about 3 to 6 months. That is the earliest you can expect. Sometimes it may take a little longer if you are not having a digital presence. All right. In the meanwhile, please continue to hone up your technical skills, communication skills, etc. Please continue to hone them up and work towards it. So how do recruiters find the people? All right. So what are the most effective hiring channels that people work on are obviously the social media, all right, where in this particular thing, social media, of course, is LinkedIn predominantly, all right. Then we have the concept of the external sources where references, etc., all right, or agencies, all those things are there. Sourcing firms are the next part. I'm sorry. External sources are sources from where we have the databases available, things like LinkedIn, etc. All right. Then we have sourcing firms which are exclusive, which are on a one-on-one basis they work. You have these private sourcing firms. All right. You register with them, and they will evaluate your profile, and then they'll try to pick on a one-on-one basis. Obviously, these are pretty heavily paid services. Predominantly, the payment is from the organization that is seeking employment, not from the person who is, organization that is seeking a candidate, not from the person who's seeking employment. Referrals, of course, are within the organization because the people, all right, as they say, right, the known devil is better than an unknown angel. So If I have a known employee and that employee is referring somebody, it is better because obviously we have some kind of an accountability. And of course, we have the system of pipelining where organizations have on their panel, they have a list of people who will be in the waiting period and they may be called maybe 3 months, maybe 6 months down the line. So that is, of course, a very small particular, what shall I say, view method by which they do the recruitment. All right. So here we have the social media, LinkedIn, social media, employee referrals, personal networks. These are the things that we are going to be working on. And let us look at the various aspects that as we move along. All right. So first things first, your resume, the first document that anybody would want to read. All right. If they have an intention of reading it. Now, blasting your resumes across multiple locations and sitting down and hoping that they'll give you a call is not going to work. It will definitely require some more efforts. But at the same time, your resume, among the hundreds of thousands of resumes that fall into the inbox of an HR personnel, how is it that it's going to be entirely different? All right, is something we are going to be discussing. Now, remember one thing. Most of the resumes today are digital, meaning it is a PDF document or a Word document. Therefore, it is best to make use of the digital document, meaning have a lot of hyperlinks mentioned in them. All right. Which means if you have a GitHub repository, have the hyperlink to the GitHub. If you have a Kaggle data, have the Kaggle data or information about your login put in there. If you have created some kind of WordPress website or small website for yourself that details your career path, whatever you have done over the period of time, put that there. All right. It is very, very easy to, create a small website, which, tells you about what you have done. Put small videos, photographs, your journey, what all you have done. So use that to the best extent because nobody wants to go through the resume and then read and then find out and then do that. You will have to make that impression to get your resume selected for the call. And a plain text resume will definitely ensure that it is not picked up. People will definitely expect a lot more than simply a plain text resume. So given this background, ensure that your resume has all those hyperlinks. And over and above that, we have various keywords because like I said, the resumes are now digital and therefore people, when they are sorting that, they have various applications available in these softwares available that they can do a simple search for various keywords and then sort out the resume. If a person has sent the resume and the person has not done any projects related to machine learning, data mining, etc., then there's no point in, picking up that particular resume and then trying to waste the time. So people will be interested in. So use the right keywords because digitally it is being picked up. Obviously, as a fresher with little or no experience, with only educational qualifications and certifications that you will have to make do with it. So you will have to position yourself as a candidate who is eager learner. You'll have to position yourself that while in college, what all you did, the activities, the associations, the memberships, the clubs that you were part of, and the activities you did. All right. If you simply mention that I was doing my graduation and in my graduation I scored so much and that is the end of it, in 3 lines, if you explain your graduation, that is going to show a not a very good view of your candidature. So therefore, while in college, I was part of this. I was part of the photography association. I was part of the debating club. I was part of the trekking club. All these things are very important. All right. And therefore, try to ensure that whatever, and obviously be prepared to substantiate and corroborate it with some kind of evidences. All right. That you should be able to speak of, because that is something they look for. And obviously, do not put projects, do not copy somebody's projects, do not pick up somebody's resume and then give me your resume. I'll just make it on similar lines so that I'll get a call, right? Because you may get a call, but if you are not able to pull through, or if you're not able to do it, you're going to get permanently blacklisted from that organization for wrongful or fraudulent means of trying to get employment. So that is a lifelong ban that you will get. Now, organizations have ways of sharing this information. So always, I cannot repeat or stress enough, always try to be very, very honest in your resumes. You may put a different spin to it. You may, magnify certain aspects of the project. You may minimize, you may try to underplay certain things, but you cannot outright say something that did not even exist. So that is an essential part that one must take care in the resume. All right. So, and then how do you explain? Now, projects is something that you would have done as part of your training program. All right. So mentioning the title of the project, mentioning the business objective and then the solution is fine. But there could be a scenario wherein, there could be a scenario where you may be stuck up, right, in the particular project. There could have been some bottlenecks. There could have been some major setbacks, and how and what you did to ensure that those setbacks were achieved. What are the failures? So everybody is interested in how you failed in certain things and how you succeeded from it, because only a person who has done the project will be able to give information about give those kind of information. So and be sure, even if you don't mention it in your resume, if you get a call, you are bound to get a question about your project. Can you explain your project? And after the explanation of the project, they will say, okay, what was the problem that you faced and how did you counter it? This is a classic question that I, as a recruiter for various positions in my organization, and as a person who conducts mock interviews, will ask. And I have known other people to also ask. Recently, I was interviewing a person for the HR role, a very senior position for the HR role. And then I asked that person about any specific problem that you faced that you would like to reveal and explain how you addressed it. I could make out that the person on the fly tried to make up some story about, aspects and then try to address it quickly. But it was, obviously, we could see through it that it was kind of, totally made up. So please be ready for that. That is an essential aspect, and try to explain it a little bit about potential pitfalls, problems faced, solutions recommended, my personal contribution. These kind of things should be a differentiation between because about 7-8 people could be working on the same project. You should be different in that. So that is another aspect that one must take. And that is with reference to the resume. Resumes today are getting more and more modern. All right. A single piece of paper, a PDF document with whole lot of, to know more, click here, my interest for for instance, somebody says, I'll give you another example that is very interesting. So somebody mentioned about, what is your hobbies? And they mentioned photography. So I asked them, what kind of camera do you have? And the person was a little taken aback. And he said, sir, I take from mobile phones. So I immediately knew that that person wanted to fill up something and therefore put photography there. If somebody says, I love this sport, now, trust me, interviewers do their research, right? Somebody wanted to talk about, football as his favorite thing. So you can probably, the interview, you can expect the interview to find out about, the major teams that are currently playing. What is the current information? Which is the football match, right? Man United or whatever, Copa America. What are these teams that are currently going on? Which is the match that is in current, and who's the top player? Things like that, which only a football fan would be able to know. So you can expect questions like these also. So please be very, very clear about even the smaller things. Now, I'll give you an example of a resume that I came to know. I unfortunately did not see that, but somebody told me about it. So in that resume, almost everything was having a hyperlink. So passion photography. So when you clicked on that, it took to a WordPress website that the person had created, where he had put a repository of all the photographs that person had taken, his portfolio. Now, this is a job not related to photography, but the person had put there. All right. And something to do with the technical skills or a project, let us say some project detail, the entire project completely, the entire details of the project, because you can probably write only 3, 4, 5 lines in a resume. So once you click on the hyperlink, it takes to another location where the details of the project, the working, the activity, the flow chart, the images, obviously with the permission of the thing, was mentioned, and accolades and what are the things. So if somebody were to get into the details, they would probably click some 7, 8 times on that one single resume. And that's it. That will be the end of it. That's going to definitely get that call. All right. So that is something that you may want to think about it. But that is with reference to the resume, and to be able to have all those aspects in your resume is to have all those aspects in real life. You cannot simply put, say, photography and click photographs and take some, photographs from the internet and put it there. You cannot be doing that. You'll have to create your repository over a period of time. And that's why I said it will take about, 6 months, 3 months to 6 months before you can actually come to that level. So what you should do, all right, what should I do? Today is my first day that I'm going to start this process and put a target, create a LinkedIn profile. If you have not already built one, start connecting to the right people, influencers, start following organizations that you admire. All right. Start following the people, start commenting, do research and comment, not just a simple comment of amazing or very nice, interesting, quite impressive, or quite profound. One-line words. These are the kind of comments people people write with the pure intention of having their profile in the visibility. If you are actually doing a thought process, if you're actually thinking about it and writing something, all right, into that particular profile, and say, but I disagree with you, I also have on similar lines, and probably write maybe 15, 20 words, that will have a different, because every single thing that a person does on the digital platform is constantly being monitored. All right. So you may want to ensure that. Please be very, very careful about your social media presence. Do not be highly radical. Do not be very vocal about certain political or religious or sociological aspects. All right. There are a lot of things that you may feel very strongly about, but an organization will also look at people who are predominantly neutral. Unfortunately, that's how it is. Nobody wants a loudmouth, or nobody wants somebody who's very passionate about things. Probably, yeah, except for probably a nationalist feeling, probably cricket or football, or which is kind of okay. But things that can be, you can have opposing teams, is something that is a no-no. You must feel strongly. I'll just quickly narrate in a minute about a case study which happened with me. I am a strong critic of motorsports, all right? The Formula One racing and drag racing and all these things. I'm a very big critic about it, because I find it that a single motor. I had done some research, and somebody was talking about, I was at the F1 race or something in Italy, and I replied to that my friend's comment about how one single race is responsible for so much of, um, so much of carbon production, so much of fuel wastage, so much of rubber, all these things that are being created, and it is a very, very expensive sport. It is not a sport that anybody can do. I mean, you can probably work hard and become a cricketer. You can be very smart. You can really work hard and become a basketball player, a footballer, or a hockey player. But you need money to become a car racer. You need skills as well. I'm not saying you don't need skills, but you also need a lot of money to become a car racer. So these are some of the things that I strongly felt about, and I made a profile. I made a very big statement on that, and I got a lot of negative flack. Now, remember, this is something that will go down on my profile for like ever. I wrote it about 10 years back. All right, it's going to be always there. So I can probably forget about getting employment in any automotive sector or any automotive companies at senior positions, because they will be definitely looking at all my history. So please be very careful about what are the things. Participate in discussion threads in Quora, in experts exchange, participate in competitions, create a profile. Like I said, there is no silver bullet, there is no magic pill that you eat and then you become strong. Just like working out in the gym, all right? You cannot expect to, look like Arnold Schwarzenegger or Vidyut Jambwal by thinking that, you will be able to, by simply thinking that, I'll do this, I'll do that, and I'll probably take to that level. So it is not possible in that particular profile, which will take years of hard work, all right, for at least the gym. So similarly, you need to create it and be very, very judicious, and this thing, don't simply left, right, and center follow everybody. Try to create a good network. I'm sure most of you have gone through the training programs that 360 Digit MG has done. And as part of that training program, all right, as part of that training program, you must be aware of, as part of the training program, you must be aware of the topic of what is known as network analytics, all right? So in network analytics, there are various measures or central tendencies, measures, all right? We have the degree centrality, we have the closeness centrality, etc. So just giving an analogy here, rather than concentrating excessively on the degree centrality, that is maximum number of connections, try to improve your closeness centrality and the betweenness centrality and the eigenvector centrality by virtue of connecting with the important people who are connected to many more people. That is also something that is important when you are, following and connecting to people online. All right. So that is something that you must work on. So same thing is mentioned here. Update your data science skills, and while you wait, right, while you're waiting for that call to come, constantly keep updating, all right, new things that are coming in. Whatever has been covered, yes, that is important. But there are obviously a lot more things available in the market that or available in the job descriptions that you may not be aware of. So start reading, start learning, because life of a data scientist is a constant learner. You'll have to constantly be learning about it. So that is something you may want to ensure that. And then, that is something you can probably look at this profile. That is my colleague's profile. GitHub, you cannot do magic on GitHub. It will take time. So, and if you start, working or start participating left, right, and center, it is going to be obvious that on a particular date you had started this. So, like a plane taking off, like the plane slowly moving into the runway, then slowly, increasing the speed, and then becoming totally the final highest speed it reaches, and then the takeoff. try to follow the same processes when you are working on it, and then you ensure that you move in that particular direction and slowly and steadily increase your GitHub repository profile. It should not be obvious that on 9th of April or 9th of April 2022, suddenly you started and all your digital profiles were pretty high. Because trust me, you will, if you're going to start in a big bang for all these things in one day, after 15, 20 days or a month, you're going to slow down, and that is going to be visible. All right, participated in 15 competitions in one day, participated in one competition in 15 days to participated in one competition in 45 days. That is going to reflect poorly. So you don't have consistency and things like that. Those are the something like that. So there are various meetup sites. I told you about Experts Exchange. I told you about, the meetup.com. These things are there. And of course, preparation is the key while you wait. So keep doing all these things multiple times and success has to come your way. All right. And I'll just wrap it up with one small anecdote. When you apply for a job and you get it, good. When you apply for a job and you don't get it, very good. Why? Because it gives you an opportunity for learning. It gives you an opportunity to understand the requirements and prepare even better for the next interview. Thank you so much, friends. I wish you all the best. And for more such videos, please do subscribe to our YouTube channel at 360 Digit MG. And for any programs, courses, free or paid, you can watch our YouTube videos and also log into our website 360digitmg.com. Thank you. Bye.